the meeting to order. George, could you take roll?
Colonel Evans?
Here.
Mr. Roseanne?
Here.
Mrs. Ludwig?
Here.
Mr. Miko?
Here.
And Mr. Naso?
Here.
All present.
Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. It's part of the meeting when we talk about our goals. Every meeting we talk about the goals, every single meeting, because that's what we do. So our first goal is student achievement. That's our number one goal. Everything we do, every decision we make, every item on this agenda is there to reflect on student achievement. We're there, that's what we're trying to do, is maximize the education to every child in this district. Our second goal is financial prudence. With that, we're trying to maximize every dollar that we get from various sources into education. So we're trying to maximize every dollar that we're blessed with from the taxpayers, that we utilize that for student achievement. And then the third goal is community engagement. And with that, we take the support of the community, and they volunteer for so many different things, and they help us, and they augment the dollars that we get to maximize student achievement. So we take those two things, and with the dollars we have and with the help we have, and we use that to drive the educational product that we deliver from this district, which is exceptional. With that, we'll move on to public comment. We don't have any today. That brings us to Treasurer's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Naso. I have one item for your consideration tonight, and that is Ticket Roar ticketing and registration platform. And what Ticket Roar is an electronic ticketing platform. It provides an additional option on how to purchase tickets for athletic events and prom, homecoming. It's an electronic platform. The additional option is somewhat like, if you're familiar with FastPass, you can buy tickets electronically or through your mobile phone, and it'll scan them as well. And then, as we always look to strengthen our internal controls, this is another measure as the tickets will be tracked electronically, and we can reconcile the reports easily and tie them back to the cash in an effort to go cashless as well, as although there will be a cash option. So the terms of the agreement can be found in Exhibit A.
All right. How quickly does the cash come to the district?
It could be a week after the event, or we could set it every month. We have an option on how we can get the cash back to us.
All right. And there are fees involved, but it's
So there's-
convenience fees, correct?
Correct. So there's no annual fee to the district, and there's convenience fees involved and transaction fees. And those will be paid, just like if you were purchasing tickets through FastPass, there's convenience fees and transaction fees that will be paid for by the consumer. Again, those are convenience fees, and we still have the option, how we currently purchase tickets. You can come to the gate, purchase cash for those tickets, or come to the high school and purchase cash for those tickets, and there's no fees associated with that. So the only time there would be fees is if you would buy them in advance of the game electronically.
Okay.
This will be able to scan the tickets that are purchased through this platform.
Correct.
Will it also scan like those season passes that people get, that you can go to other schools, so when other schools come with that?
Correct. So
Okay.
we'll be able to scan those as well.
So we can track
And
how
we can
many
track-
people are coming.
Correct.
going.
So we can track everyone that's coming through the door, also track attendance and see who's purchased tickets and who, and then who ended up showing up for the game.
Okay, that sounds great.
So George, if I could just ask a quick question. The service fee is 14%.
Right.
So it's a subject minimum fee of either 80 cents or up to a maximum of $7. Then there's a payment processing fee between 2 and 2.8%.
Correct. So the 14% is the convenience fee, and the 3% is the credit card transaction fee. So if you use a credit card, it's a 3% fee, and then if you were purchasing in advance, it's the 14% convenience fee and 3% transaction fee. So essentially, if you were to buy a $6 ticket, it's going to be close to $7. And that's if you buy in advance. If you come to the gate and pay cash for it, there's no fee. Right now, also at the gate, it gives us another option for credit cards. Currently, we don't have a credit card option. We had a lot of parents that come to the game with no cash, and with a credit card, and we had to turn them away a few times last year, and they had to either come back with cash. So this gives us an opportunity to have a credit card option. And if they were to use a credit card at the gate, then there would be the 3%.
Will they provide you the hardware?
We'll have to purchase the hardware. So the hardware is minimal. It could be a Chromebook, and to have the operating system at the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the scanners, it could be an old iPad or iPod or iPhone could be refurbished. That has the ability to connect to the internet and have a camera that could scan.
Okay.
So
Thank
we're
you.
looking at possibly having 6 units, 4 at the ticket booths and the phones to scan at the gates.
One of the nice things is that if we anticipate a larger crowd or we start getting larger crowds, we're not stuck with the hardware that a company would provide. And, you know, I don't think anybody likes to wait in lines. So if we know it's gonna be a bigger crowd, we can get that hardware temporarily. The company provides the app.
Right.
It's similar to Square, it's similar to any of the other systems that you put a swiper or a magnetic reader on your phone or on your iPad. The 2 comments I was gonna make was, one, it's a 1-year exclusive contract. So I would wanna make sure we're collecting the data. I'm comfortable that it's a 1-year contract, because that lets us, as this technology becomes more pervasive, it'll become a commodity, and we'll be in a position to either get better pricing from HTM, Home Team Marketing, or other companies will come out. I'm assuming you're aware it is an exclusive contract for that 1 year. So
Correct.
any ticketing that we would do for any events in the district would have to go through them. And I think the fees are reasonable. I don't know if we expressed well enough. If we do the credit cards at the gate, it's just the credit card fee.
Correct.
The convenience fee is similar to going to the movies or Cinemark or what have you. The convenience fee is to be able to buy those tickets in the car while you're driving to the game or the day before or what have you. And it'll work out to about $1 for a $6 football game, which is a lot of money percentage-wise, but not having to wait in line and being able to take care of it in your home may be worth that fee to some people.
And it's purely optional, because you can wait in line and pay your $6, or you can go to
Hopefully-
the app and download, get a ticket, and walk
Hopefully-
right through.
Hopefully, everyone will do that, and then I can just walk up and just pay the credit card fee.
Somehow I believe that.
I'm sure you do. So, but I think it's a good idea, and it's certainly the way people want to purchase things
Right.
today.
All right. And with that, anything else with that?
No, with that concludes my report.
Thank you. Superintendent's report?
Thank you, Mr. Naso. We're going to start off with, last month we had Denny Ziegler here to talk about an athletics update, and I'm thrilled to have Andy Heyer here. He's going to talk about an update from the music program. And before Andy comes up and talks, I just want to share, one of the ideas, and I hope I'm not stealing something that's in your presentation, but one of the ideas that Andy had a few years ago was, what about starting to bring our 4th graders to the high school to showcase our high school orchestra and high school band program as they're starting to think about 5th grade instrumental music decisions. So they can hear the whole gamut of it, rather than just here's the trumpet, here's the viola, et cetera. So I think this was the 3rd year that we did it, and it is just phenomenal. As a former musician, I'm probably a little more critical than most people, but to hear, I'm jealous that I didn't get to participate in a music program like we have in Strongsville. No discredit to where I went to school, but I mean, to hear where the band is and their performance, to hear where the orchestra was, I mean, it's just phenomenal. And I think one of the things that was brought up, and Andy, maybe you can talk about, is it's not just that they're playing easier level music. They're playing some of the most difficult music that's out there. They're competing with some of the most difficult music that's out there, and they're still ranking as high as you possibly can across the state in these competitions. So I just want to say that's a credit to you and Brian and everybody in the department, because it just doesn't start at the high school. It starts in 5th grade on up, and you guys have just done a tremendous job, and I'm so proud of the work and the efforts that you've done. So now, why don't you get into the weeds a little bit and share what's going on and all that's happening in the music program?
Well, good evening, and thank you for inviting me to be here tonight. So I'll give you kind of an overview of our course offerings in the Strongsville City Schools music program, and then I'm going to primarily focus on our performing part of our program, which would include band, orchestra, and choir. So to give you a bit of an overview, we do offer general music instruction for every single elementary student in grades K through 5 in every elementary building. And then starting in either 4th or 5th grade, we start offering beginning instruction for either instrumental or vocal music. One of the things I'm very proud of in Strongsville, we have a place for everyone. We have performing ensembles that perform at a college and professional level, and we have performing ensembles that meet the needs of students who love playing their instrument, but let's face it, they're probably not going to do it as much post-high school as others, and we have a place for all those students. I do want to point out for 5 straight years, the National Association of Music Merchants has ranked us as one of the best communities for music education. A lot of that's based on our course offerings and the percentage of students involved in our programs. So they have other criteria they look at as well, but those are 2 of the primary criteria for that. We offer a lot of out-of-classroom experiences for our students, predominantly at the high school level, and they've performed in front of worldwide audiences, including, Walt Disney World, New York City, Chicago, Hawaii. We've been in national parades, performed at major venues, including Carnegie Hall and other places. So that's always a point of pride for our alumni, and it speaks well of the tradition of our program going back many, many decades. And finally, we have 2 awesome parent support groups, the Strongsville Instrumental Music Boosters, who support our instrumental programs, and then our choral booster group. So when we talk about our performing part of our program, which would be instrumental or vocal, I like to use a visual of a pyramid. And it starts at the beginning level, which is the widest, largest part of the pyramid, and that's where we start 5th grade band, orchestra, or 4th grade choir. Some students start in 6th. And then as we go up to the top of the pyramid, we get all the way up to the Strongsville High School ensembles. And they're the ones you see all the time. They're the ones you hear. They're the ones you see on Friday nights. They're the ones in the parades. But as you can tell, it starts at the bottom, which is also the biggest part of our program. So to give you an overview, 4 out of 5 elementary schools do have some extracurricular choirs for 4th graders that are offered, but students can also start choir in 5th grade or 6th grade at the middle school. And then we offer beginning band and orchestra at the 5th grade level at all elementary schools. And at the beginning level, we teach the very basics to get students started, which might include posture, proper setup, instrument care, note reading, rehearsal and performance etiquette, and other basic technical and musical skills to get them started, and from which we grow all the way up through high school. So like I said, as you visualize a pyramid, the widest and most important segment of that pyramid is the foundation, which is that first layer where we get all of our beginners going. So we view the beginning level as the most important component of the program, even though the general public sees the top of the pyramid, which is our high school performing groups. Once a student goes into our middle levels, 6th grade, every single 6th grader currently is in a music class at Strongsville Middle School, band, orchestra, choir, or general music. And then in 7th grade, we start offering select ensembles. Select ensembles are audition-based groups, that generally consist of more serious musicians. And then in 8th grade, we continue to expand our course offerings. We offer more select ensembles, and then you'll notice that we offer art and music production, or our AMP class, and that's a really cool technical component to music where students get to write and do some online stuff with their composition skills and music. And then I want to point out that in middle school, these are the developmental years where each level builds upon the skills taught the previous year. So students who start in 5th, then go to 6th, then go to 7th, we introduce more skills, more techniques. The music becomes more technically challenging, requiring a greater range of fluency. And then ultimately what our goal is at the middle school is to get students ready for the high school levels. So at Strongsville High School, which is the tip of the pyramid, it's the most visible. That's the part of the program that represents the school and the community. We also offer music theory and music appreciation at the high school, and those are very valuable classes that even non-musicians can take. So as far as our bands go, we have the Marching Mustangs. We have our Wind Ensemble, which is available for an honors class. We have our symphonic band, our concert band. We have select and lab jazz bands, which are offered after school. And then we add the color guard component to the marching band. And with orchestras, we offer freshman orchestra, string orchestra, which is grades 10 through 12, symphony orchestra, which is our honors level orchestra, and then chamber strings, which is an after-school class, but very much an important part of the program. And in our choral department, or vocal department, we have concert choir, treble choir, Mustang Express, which is our show choir, Cantorum, which is our honors level chorus, and we have several specialty choirs that meet extracurricular after school, such as some jazz ensembles with those. So, though it's at the tip of the pyramid, musical and technical skills continue to develop at the high school level, especially grades 9 through 12. And as you can imagine, a senior has more experience than a 9th grader or a sophomore and bring to the table a larger musical skill set. And the repertoire that we perform at the high school level, much of it's at the college and professional levels. So it's not, it's very high-end music that the students learn and prepare, and they enjoy doing it, and we enjoy teaching it. And then, of course, our groups perform at many community events and functions throughout the year. We've traveled extensively, and all of our groups at the middle school and high school level participate in OMEA adjudicated events. OMEA is the Ohio Music Education Association, and not only do we participate in large group events, which are the big ensembles, band, orchestra, choir, all of our students also participate in solo and ensemble contests, which are individual solos or small groups of trios, quartets, etc. So one of the things that I'd like to point out, there's a lot of research that's ongoing talking about the benefits of music in an education. And you can see some key points here that students who participate in music at any level for any amount of time tend to perform better in math and science. They have higher ACT, SAT scores. They overall tend to perform better academically. They also are more socially and emotionally adjusted. They are less likely to get into trouble or make poor choices, and they develop a lot of lifetime skills, including collaboration, cooperation, teamwork, creativity, cultural awareness, discipline, commitment, work ethic. And we're very proud at the high school level. We use a lot of student leadership. Our students actually go through leadership training during the summer. They're elected by their peers, and then they are very instrumental in how our programs operate. We couldn't do it without strong student leaders, so developing that leadership's important. And then we also offer many opportunities for students to explore and expand their creativity, not only as musicians, but we have a lot of student composers. And in fact, over the years, we've actually on occasion performed compositions that were written by students, and we're very proud to say several of our students have produced some pretty amazing works, and we have a couple right now currently at Strongsville High School who I foresee in the not so distant future probably producing some stuff that's going to go pretty big. So we also like to point out that playing an instrument and singing is also a very physical activity. Now, we all think of marching band marching, but even sitting in a chair and the motion involved, the breath support for our vocalists and our wind players, it's a very physical activity. They do burn calories taking part of our activities. And then finally, we're very proud of all of our alumni and what they've done over the years, and we have many students go on to attend major college conservatory, in schools of music. I have several up there that are more recent. We have lots of students go on as music minors. We have many students who participate in college ensembles as non-majors. Currently, we have a couple students in the Ohio State University Marching Band. We have several in the Ohio University Marching Band, and we've got many who are participating in orchestras and choirs at their universities or colleges, even though they're not music majors at all. We have a lot of students who've gone on into music education who are now fellow colleagues and make me feel old. I have many students who've gone on into music performance, including several this year, class of 2019, who are going to go on and pursue degrees in performance. We have a lot of professional musicians who've come through our program. We have a lot of college-level teachers and directors who've come through our program, a lot of musical theater and Broadway performers, and a lot of studio teachers. As Cameron mentioned, some of the events and functions or performances throughout the year include our usual fall, winter, and spring concerts, but also we perform for a lot of school events, NHS induction ceremony. We perform for the fourth graders, which helps give them an opportunity to see what it's like, the high school groups performing before they select an instrument. We have done a lot of performances at some major venues over the years. Carnegie Hall, Severance Hall here in Cleveland. We've had groups perform at St. Patrick's Cathedral. So we're very proud of our heritage, if you will. So are there any questions at all about our music program and our offerings?
I don't have any questions, just praise. I mean, it's an incredible program,
Thank you.
and we're really proud of it, and I love coming to the concerts, and I think everybody does. It's incredible. It's a little praise for you. I know you're such a perfectionist, and it shows in everything, the way the children perform and the level at which you get them to perform, and they're always growing, and you do an incredible job of it. We thank you very much for everything you do.
If I could just make one comment, my son plays violin, and I absolutely enjoy when he comes home with a piece of music, and he's like, "Dad, I got to practice. I have to practice." I'm like, "Okay, just go into the family room and just leave me alone. Just go in there." But you are absolutely correct, Mr. Heyer. You push your children, and that ability to not only help educate, work with those children, but to allow them to excel, to push them to a point where you're making them better musicians. And that is, for me, like Carl said, a part of your perfectionism. It's what you and your staff do to help our children. And I'm just very thankful.
I had a question. We have a long tradition of music in our district, 30, 40 years of very strong. I appreciate that you're continuing that on. My question is, what opportunities is the district providing for summer music? You had mentioned the leadership activities take place. What about summer band, other than summer band camp or summer orchestra? Are there avenues, or do they need to go outside of the district if they want to continue with their music in the
Well,
summer?
that's a good question. We do offer quite a few opportunities right here within our school district. We offer a summer elementary/middle school band and orchestra that meets for a couple weeks at the middle school in the mornings, and then they give a kind of a concert for the parents. That's always a fun time, and it keeps them playing. That's one of the goals with that. Of course, we've got summer marching band that happens. We have summer show choir camp and Kids in the Ville program, which is for any student that's interested in singing and dancing, and they come out in droves for that. Ms. Eicher does a great job with that program. We do have a lot of students who will pursue some of the high-end music camps in the summer as well. A lot of universities and colleges offer them, and there's several well-known ones up in Michigan. Blue Lakes Fine Arts Camp we send students to. We've actually had students attend Interlochen Fine Arts Camp, which are very serious music camps. Usually students who do that end up becoming music majors. They'll spend several weeks in the summer. Beautiful settings, look like at a national park up there, and play and work with professionals and stuff. So, but right within Strongsville, we do offer quite a few opportunities for our students.
And are those open to children outside of the district as well? So neighboring districts, could they participate in those programs to take advantage of our wonderful music?
No,
Offering?
those are usually those
Okay.
are for students who are within our programs
Okay.
or who are students enrolled in our school district.
Thank you.
Mr. Heyer, I noticed that Baldwin Wallace wasn't listed up there. They have a pretty good conservatory, don't they?
Oh, yes, and we have students there as well.
Okay.
Yes, it was not, we have so many, the list would go on and on and on. I did want to make sure I got Bowling Green up there, though. There it is.
Andy, do you have an update on the piano?
Yeah, our piano is, it's fantastic if you haven't seen it. Beautiful instrument being used all the time. We just finished a really awesome fundraiser with choir and band students and orchestra students. We did Mustang drinkware, which was unique. So Tervis mugs and Yeti-style cups with Strongsville Mustang logos and images on them. And it's brought in several $1,000s.
Excellent.
So, yes.
Is that still ongoing?
We are pretty much done with that. We've just about got that knocked out. We're very proud and very pleased with our fundraising efforts for that. And if you haven't stopped in and see it, I know some of you have, but
It's beautiful.
it's beautiful
Do we
to
have a
look at.
total?
So we haven't received the funds for the fundraiser yet, but from last time we brought in about 27,000 in revenue for the piano, and we expended about 44,000.
Getting there.
Yes.
Probably close to 30,000.
Yeah, and there's still some coming in that haven't gone to your office
Right.
yet,
Right.
so. Yep.
That's excellent.
So I want to thank you, Andy, for being here, and share our thanks with Vicki and Brian and all of our music staff for the work that they do. You know, I know last time when we talked about athletics, Denny talked about the importance of a strong youth program and how that builds a strong athletic program, and it's no different for the musicians. You know, building that strong youth program in the 5th grade builds it all the way to the high school. And, you know, one of the things that you did for me is you had, you know, a group of our students play at the State of the Schools presentation this year for me, and one of the news stations that was there came up to me and said, you know, where did you bring in this orchestra from to play? And I said, I brought them from down the street. They're our high school kids. And he's like, no way. I said, just make sure you get them on the news. And so, I mean, that's a credit to what's being done. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that's a link to what we need to preserve and what the community has an opportunity to preserve this May, whether they get their absentee ballots now or vote all the way up until May 7th, because as we talked, there have been some reductions that are going to go into place for music, with eliminating that co-teaching opportunity, which is a benefit to our kids. But when we take a look at, you know, pep band, when we take a look at your ability to travel and showcase in other venues, and marching band to travel and show choir to travel, unfortunately, those things won't be permitted to happen if we don't continue to have the financial support that our district needs. So as we're here to praise and celebrate all the work and all the time and energy and sweat and tears that have gone into build the music program that it is, it's also important that we preserve that. And our community has a choice via absentee vote starting on Tuesday or at the polls on May 7th to determine whether we're going to continue to have that same level of talent and expertise and showcasing of our students moving forward. So thank you for that.
Excellent.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Andy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Nice job,
Mr. Heyer.
as always.
The only other thing under the superintendent's report is we do have one student service item for your consideration. Be it resolved upon my recommendation that the board enters into agreement with the Cleveland Clinic Children's Hospital for rehabilitation on behalf of the Lerner School for Autism for a student with disabilities from April 8, 2019 to August 9, 2019 at a cost of $28,243.24, as found in Exhibit B. And then finally, Jenny has one item under Human Resources.
Thank you, Dr. Ryba. Under Human Resources, under C1, I just have one item for your consideration. We have the resignation of a leadership team member. Carol Lake, our Assistant Treasurer, has submitted her resignation, and we wish her all the best in her future endeavors.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any progress on replacement for assistant?
So right now, so Carol was able to take an opportunity closer to her son down for Orange local schools. So right now, we have the posting for the assistant treasurer open, which is open last week. We have quite a few candidates already, and the posting closes
How many?
tomorrow. Right now, there's 50 some applicants.
Wow.
So spend some time to go through those.
So, yeah.
and narrow it down and hopefully start the interview process within the next 2 weeks and get someone in quickly.
Excellent. Well, that'll be great. We wish Carol all the luck, and I know that it was a long haul for her to come here, and so happy she found something closer. Okay, with that, that brings us to the consent calendar. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you,
I said
Duke.
first.
Duke. Duke's quicker. Any discussion on any of the consent items? Nope. George, take roll.
Colonel Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Mr. Naso?
Yes.
Mr. Grozan?
Yes.
Mrs. Ludwig?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Excellent. Thank you. That brings us to Board of Education Other. I mean, I have one. Go ahead.
Just for the PTA, I wasn't able to attend the meeting today, unfortunately. I got back in from Nashville yesterday at 1 o'clock in the morning. But there's a Rocking at the Rec, or actually at the middle school, on April 12th. It's a Hawaiian theme. And then the the DARE program is having another program on the 26th from 6 to 9. And that will be at Mashad's Town and Country. So I just wanted to make mention of those.
Okay. The only other I have is the school funding simulations came out. And unfortunately, in the first pass of them that they came out, Strongsville ended up with a big goose egg. So there was no help in there. We're still working with our representatives to see if we can improve that and get a better outcome. But at this point, there's no help coming from the state. I did notice that there was a lot of other districts did get some help. We did not, but we're going to continue to work. It was the first chance they got to look at it as well. So we're hoping that once they get a look at that and they see what's happening here, and with the zero increase, no decrease, but zero increase in our state funding formula, we'll see how that works through the process, and we're hopeful that maybe by June we can influence that. But as of this point, I think there were only 4 districts in Cuyahoga County that didn't get some help, and we are one of them. I don't know why that is, but it's unfortunate. It's not right, and we're going to continue to lobby our efforts. But so far they've fallen on deaf ears. So
I did find it very interesting that Dublin
yeah, Dublin,
did
$7 million bucks.
Of all places, yeah, they received $7 million. So Dublin, which is north of Columbus, and that's where BMW Financial Services headquarters is. They received $7 million.
Interesting. Yeah.
Dublin their aid.
Yeah, more than Dublin.
Yep.
They don't get a lot.
I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it's a
But-
small district. I don't know what it's interesting, but we'll see what happens. As of right now, nothing. So we're gonna just keep working. I don't know if anybody has any other comments. I know, Richard, you followed it very closely. I don't know if there's anything you want to mention on it, or,
What I will mention is it's very much under discussion. I think Strongsville is, we are unique in the sense that our population has gone down, and it has gone down drastically. And I was talking with our treasurer, George, earlier, and we are currently over 50% on the guarantee. So I do think it's going to be a challenge for us. We are gonna have to be vocal about it, but it is going to be a challenge, a serious challenge for us to get additional funding from Columbus. But it is very much in play. Larry Householder, who is the President of the House of Representatives, was interviewed today, and he is concerned with the amount of new money that would be required to fund the new formula that's being presented. He said it's over $1 billion for the 2 years, and obviously that's a lot of money, and it has to come from somewhere, and he's concerned about that. So I think between now and June, there's going to be a lot of changes, and we'll make sure to pay attention and plead and advocate for Strongsville. But,
Yeah.
It-
We keep hearing that enrollment's down. It is down, but it's stabilized. I mean, it's been down for a while. It's not like it's dropping every year at any significant amount. We've made all those cuts. I mean, how long are they, it's like penalizing the city of Cleveland because the river caught on fire 50 years ago. I mean, our enrollment dropped a while back. These funding
It actually
formulas,
went up slightly.
Did.
Yeah.
We have people moving
into this
our
district.
community.
So, I mean, I know every time they say it, they always mention, well, enrollment's down. It's not down, we've already that happened a while back. I mean, I'm not buying that's the story. I get it that we're on the guarantee. I understand that the reason we're on the guarantee is because the other formula is worse than this one in some regards, but it's still completely unacceptable. And it just can't stand. And unfortunately, we're Strongsville, right? And we're Strongsville, we're proud, and we're here, and, we're gonna take care of our own. The state's not coming to help us. They are not. We're just hoping they won't hurt us. But the state's not coming to help us. Strongsville is gonna help themselves. We're gonna get ourselves out of here. We're gonna carry our own water. We're gonna be responsible. We're gonna take care of our own city because it's our city. And that's the way it's gonna be.
and I think it's worth reminding the voters that the levy that is on the ballot in May, that one of the benefits, I suppose, but I do think it's valid, one of the benefits is that every dollar collected stays in Strongsville.
Right.
Your income tax, et cetera, that goes to Columbus, and you hope it comes back, and that's the conversation we're having with Columbus right now.
We only
We
get
send out,
20 cents out of every dollar we pay
we
to
send out,
Columbus.
we send out a lot of income tax, and
For
we
income
don't,
tax.
we don't get that back from Columbus. But the levy that is on the ballot, every dollar stays in Strongsville and goes to benefit the students in Strongsville. And I think it's important to remind everyone of that fact.
Yep. It's one of the reasons why I'm looking at Grove City College for my daughter, because they don't take federal funding, and they don't have to deal with these mandates and unfunded things. It's like, you pay us, we teach your kid. That seems like a good plan to me. So we'll work our way through that, and we'll take help where we can get it, but we're gonna carry our own kids on our own backs. We'll get it done. Any others?
On the, yeah, I
Yes,
have
go ahead.
one.
Yeah,
On the
please.
long-range calendar, the Ohio Flags of Honor will be on our town square on May the 31st. At 6 PM is the opening ceremony. It's, they place a US flag in the square for every Ohio veteran, Ohio service person that died in the global war on terror. It's a pretty moving ceremony from what I understand, and we're working, VFW Post 3345 is sponsoring it here, and we're working right now to try and get a flyover for that day.
And that'll be there for 3 days, is that
Yes.
correct? Yes.
Yeah, Friday through Sunday. So if
Flags of
anybody's
honor.
put it on their long-term calendar
Excellent.
coming up for Memorial Day.
If anybody's looking for some exercise, we're gonna have a little walk starting here on Saturday we're gonna meet up at the middle school around noon, and we're gonna deploy around 1, and we're gonna knock on some doors and tell everybody how great we are. So if you're looking for some exercise and you wanna partake in that, I'll meet you there. We'll have some donuts.
Chance to meet your neighbors.
Chance to meet your neighbors.
And if I can piggyback
Yes,
on that, Carl, I wanted to announce to the public, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, April 13th, in advance of the exercise, from 10 a.m. to noon, I'm going to have a donut coffee talk at my home, specifically to allow people, if they have any questions and want to ask a school board member, they can come visit. I like donuts. If you don't like donuts, tell me you like bagels. We'll have coffee, we'll have juice. But I used to do that
Yeah.
a number of years ago, and
I like omelets.
that's nice, Carl. But Carl challenged us to have a coffee talk with your friends and neighbors, and I have no friends, and my neighbors won't visit, so I'm gonna open it up to anyone in the city. But I will be honest, if you know you're voting yes, I'll get you a donut some other time. And if you're a hard no, I'll get you a donut some other time. I'd really like, if people are on the fence and they have questions about whether to support the levy, I'd love to have you come over and have a donut or a bagel, and I'll answer any questions you have.
Richard, will you have like raspberry-filled donuts, and can I stop over?
If that means you'll stop over, no.
If you're a hard no, we'll help you move.
Exactly.
So, but once again, April 13th,
Excellent.
10 a.m. to noon. You don't have to RSVP, but if you want to give me a heads up so I know how many donuts to buy, 440-238-9988 or rmicko@scesmustangs.org. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. No others? And we are on to executive session, and we are not on to executive session. There will be no executive session. Correct?
Correct.
Excellent. With that, we can adjourn. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, George. Any discussion about adjournment? No? George, take roll.
Mr. Grozan?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Mr. Naso?
Yes.
Colonel Evans?
Yes.
Mrs. Ludwig?
Yes.
Motion passes, meeting adjourned at 7:42 PM.